Okay, what's up? This is Chunk, and
And
I'm
this
here
is
with
Deryk, the
Deryk,
man.
the man who had the experiences.
I experienced a lot of things.
Okay, we're gonna be making the director's commentary for Experience of a Man, and let's just get right into it.
Okay, we're starting.
So this ATM was used in a lot of the other shorts. There was actually 6 shorts shown that night, and 4 of them, I think, out of the 6 used this one. So we're not going for the originality points. This is kind of like a statement of how we don't care about the festival's like requirements and stuff. Kind of like a middle finger to the festival.
Oh,
You talking to me?
so this here, the whole reason for this, for the inclusion of like this entire shot, is for the film festival at our school that we had to submit this to. It had to include the "Are you talking to me?" line of dialogue, uh, the ATM, and the pancake. So like we wanted to get it all out of the way so we didn't actually have to incorporate it into the movie so we could like fulfill our full vision without having to compromise and put pancakes and ATMs in it, and also just kind of a way to like snub the school's requirements and make it more edgy by just getting it all for the way to the beginning and then fading to black as if it has no relevance to the movie.
Notice the long pause between the two.
We want to make it very clear that it's not part of it.
I was actually inspired from that scene from Kieslowski's Decalogue 6, the short film about love, where this awkward guy, he's trying to like find out where sexuality lies, and I was just really inspired by that role, and I really took to it, and so that's what kind of gave this oomph to this performance.
Also, I think this might be the only part in the entire film where, aside from the short intro, where anyone actually makes sound.
Yeah, I think so too. Notice how there are no words in this entire short.
Which is epic. This fade, like, or this, where it goes out of focus slightly, that was on purpose. When we first screened this, most people were already laughing at this point in the movie, so most people were getting the idea of what we were going for very early on.
Yeah, sometimes Christians have the dirtiest minds out there, you know.
That is very true. Representation for chodes. Not that this is about penises or anything. This is definitely not.
It's just experiences of a man.
The viewer inserts their own interpretation. This one might have been the most laughed at shot in the entire theater.
I
when we
think so
showed it.
too. And this one actually took a lot of time to pull through. You know, you had to do
Also,
some color
this shot
correction.
was very, very close to being cut because when we first shot it, it was very like overexposed and the whole thing was super like white. But in post, we were able to salvage it. But this iconic shot almost didn't even make the final cut.
It's kind of like Orson Welles, The Other Side of the Wind. You know, just throwing it together and just like really savoring every shot.
So true. That's the original score for the movie. Micro penis representation,
If it was about penises.
which is what people say, but that's not really my intention when I made it. This is the most iconic shot from the whole film, and like, unironically, a shot that could be like iconic, I would say.
That was our rosebud.
At this point in the movie, most people were probably getting pretty uncomfortable.
I'd say so. I love the sound effect of this one. So
I like to feel the plates coming off.
yeah.
This was truly the most daring performance of the film festival, maybe of all time.
Questionable.
like to have a lot of difference in like size and like somewhat shape of the items. This one I think made people really uncomfortable for some reason. I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
This one, I don't know. Very few people have gotten this joke, but like there was a very intentional placement of that rod between those two pots. I don't want to reveal what I intended when I did that, but there was something very intentionally done when that happened. Also, this shot is intended to like transition from the more calm movements to the more fast and loud movements from the next segment.
You hear the sounds of basketball being played.
There's like a lot of variety in sound. Like the harsh cuts of like the background noise was like very on purpose, very Lars von Trier inspired. This shot.
Okay, so we have a really out of the dimension experience, breaking the fourth wall, kind of inspired by Hodorowski's The Ending of Holy Mountain.
Spoilers if you haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, spoilers.
But so the majority of the movie was shot on the Sony camera, which is actually present in this shot right here. This shot is shot on a Canon. But yeah, so yeah. This is the one shot that's shot on not the Sony camera.
Wow, that ending gets me every time.
All right, so I'm editing out my recommended videos. Let's get some of a quick recap. So one of the professors at my school was like criticizing this for not having as much of a like story as some of the other
quote
movies.
unquote narrative.
Quote unquote story or like narrative as some of the other like really garbage movies that were entered.
We're looking at you, Pancake Sam.
So now we're just going to I want to like kind of explain some of the structure.
So we kind of have a prologue kind of here right now.
Yeah, so this
we
is
call
like
this one Discovery.
So like this is like kind of a first act. And we see like it starts with like a very like active thing. Something is happening. This is a character that is established through these actions to a certain extent. This is character development. This is another event that happens. I'd like to point out that two very distinct and clear actions, two memorable actions have happened that develop the character and the story. There's no plot because there's no dialogue, bruh. Okay, so now this shot is a very obvious like transition shot from either like I don't know like the prologue or act 1 or whatever into the next part, which is also a very clear sequence of images where we like develop a kind of like visual like language that the audience expects for a certain point.
Kind of like the Soviet montage kind of deal.
This was shot very much out of order, but it was like very sequenced in a very 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 specific way. So like right now, it's just like without the interaction of the person. I wanted the first interaction of Deryk with the objects to be this shot because it was by far the most noticeable shot we have, or like the most memorable, and also it shows him like from afar, like looking on with like desire in some way, and like being curious. To the most iconic shot of all time, as we have here. Aside, which I don't understand. I do think this shot is really good. When most people talk about like other great films like 2001 and Citizen Kane, they do often fail to bring up this shot, which I don't really understand. I do think it deserves a little more recognition than it gets. Can you agree with that, Derek?
I do agree. It's just so sensual, so angsty, just everything that makes a great film. It's got it.
It definitely. I don't really know why people are always on about Citizen Kane,
Yeah.
but so yeah. So this is a continuation of what we call Act Two. Still, this is Act.
It's growing
2.
in dynamics. We're getting faster, quicker.
Yeah, so like
so that's our rising
so
action.
there is like a definitely like a pacing throughout Act Two, because like the like speed and also like the sound, like the harshness of the sound of the motions does like definitely like crescendo to this, which is really shocking then, because it's like this like violent fast thing like action to this really quiet meditative
Surreal
almost
moment.
almost meditative
Yeah.
moment in the woods, which is when we see him approaching, and then it cuts to this really like otherworldly fuzzy thing, and something is very different, and there's a new character that hasn't been seen before, and then we kind of see this interaction with the camera. And it was very planned from the beginning that when this interaction with the microphone happened, we wanted to very much have that microphone fuzz to like enhance that like fourth wall breaking surreal experience. This shot was actually not shot to be put in it. It was only shot to use the audio, but once we saw how cool it looked, we decided to put it in.
Yeah, and it really brings you in the moment. Notice how his eyes are closed the entire time, kind of like a metaphor for the things we close our eyes to or the things we turn away from. And here we have the awakening.
Which then kind of reflects back on the language that we established in Act 2. Besides, this time, instead of the dryness, there's the flowing water. So,
And we almost compromised and used other kinds of liquids, but then we realized that to really get our message across, we need this pure water that flows.
we definitely wanted it to be very consistent and really not have shots that like stood out in a bad way. But like, so this is like our transition from Act 2 to Act 3, like plot point type deal, as is expected in early screenwriting courses. But then this is like, then we expand upon the language that we established in Act 2 with all of these parts, which were then sequenced in a way that we thought was good for pacing. And then we have this one as kind of a meditative whatever outro. This one was really inspired by Tarkovsky's Stalker, that river scene in that. I really definitely had that in mind when I filmed that. And this is the final shot, the final drippings of the experiences of a man, whatever those might be. I actually, when I made the movie, I didn't know what the experiences of a man were or what they should be, and I still don't. Like, I had no intentions whatsoever when I made this movie other than just telling a cool visual story about a man just experiencing the world.
Yeah, it's more like of a meditative, like self-reflective kind of thing, like almost like dreamlike, like you're just bringing yourself into it. You don't know what it is, but it's just there.
But I don't know.
But it was met with a lot of harsh criticism. I heard from several people that they just didn't appreciate the art of it and they didn't understand it, and they just, I don't know,
I think
didn't want any part of it.
what a lot of people perceived the subject matter to be made them very uncomfortable, and also the fact that it was a non-dialogue driven film in a film festival that, actually except for one other experimental short that was included, but almost all of them were very like narrative driven. Also, 6 films were submitted. 4 the 4 that had dialogue. The 2 more like experimental films were essentially banned. Literally a vlog beat this one. A vlog about a pancake mask makeup tutorial vlog beat this.
That's 8 minutes long.
Which I do think it should have won, because the like or I think the pancake one should have won because of how much work it is to actually sit through the 8 minutes of that vlog. I think is really good, which actually reminded me of Bella Tarr's famous 7 hour long Satan Tango, which is also good because it's boring and long. So I really think boring long movies are always better.
Yeah, I think we might have approached it wrong. We should have had some longer shots in here, maybe.
There was some rules for the film festival. There had to be only a certain length. I think we should have held out all the shots for at least 3 times as long to make it more boring. So to make it more challenging of a watch and more mature of a film as a result of that. But in hindsight, that's something I might have changed. But overall, I'm satisfied. Anything else to add?
Um, just we got snubbed. We're okay with that though. We didn't compromise on our artistic vision. We just kept going along.
That's true. We could have won if we were to have compromised our vision.
If we would have thrown some inside jokes here and there, throw some iconic Greenville landscape in.
But no, we stuck to our vision, and we got snubbed and hated as all real artists do that make good art.
True.
So I guess that's all we have to say then. Thanks for everyone that has watched it and continues to watch it, and thank you if you watched this video. Okay, bye.
Bye.